And just like the initial practice run for this playthrough, I had trouble trying to get this one done. Greetings, folks. It's me, Gigalem, and welcome back to Crash Bandicoot Warped. We'll be looking at the Japanese version. I'll be only going up to World 4, and I'll be supercutting it as much as I can. But I'll be talking about the differences between each version, as well as some additional knowledge that I think that should be worth discussing. Take it away, Uka.
あれはうかうかの声。そんなバカな。うちの中に隠れるのじゃ。あのうかうかがまた復活するとは。わしの命令を失敗した者は誰一人おらん。コルテックス、二度までもわしの顔に泥を塗るとは。偉大なるうかうか様。あのクラッシュ目がいつも封印されていた牢獄の底からこれまでわしは貴様に命令してきた。じゃが貴様はパワーストーンを全部奪われよって、もう我慢の限界じゃ。世界征服に必要な宝石はもうないではないか。わかっております、うかうか様。ちょっとしたミスはありましたが、大きな失敗じゃ。そうは言っても貴様の失敗によって世が自由になったのも事実じゃ。皮肉だがのもう一度だけチャンスをやろう。この星を征服するためのパワーを集める方法がまだあるのじゃ。今度はわし自らが出る。それでちょちょいのパーじゃ。遠い昔わしは地球を救うために悪の仮面うかうかを地下の牢獄に封印したのじゃ。しかしなぜかあいつが復活してしまったようじゃ。わしはまたうかうかを止めねばならん。お主らの力をぜひ貸してほしいのじゃ。ここはタイムネジネジマシーンの部屋じゃ。うかうかとコルテックスは世界中あらゆる時代のパワーストーンを集めようとしておる。このマシーンで奴らと同じ時代にワープしてパワーストーンを守るのじゃ。床にある数字のボタンに乗ると丸いタイムゲートが開く。そこに飛び込むのじゃ。頼むぞよ。
Now, these releases of Crash Bandicoot 3, both the European and Japanese versions, have a lot more voice dialogue in it. The Japanese version has a series of Aku Aku hints that debuted in Crash Bandicoot 2, predating Aku Aku having a voice in the US versions of the game, specifically Aku Aku having a voice in Crash 3. Another thing is that in the European version, if I remember correctly, there are several different dubs to the European version simply because it's accounting for all the recognized languages of that area. Now, another thing I should make mention of is a Japanese trailer I've stumbled across that added some additional information that I don't think is widely discussed. Crash, you can tell it's been a while since I played. Loading times are also much longer in this version.
クラッシュ、なんでわしの邪魔をするのだ。今度はわしも仮面ぐらい持っておるわい。どちらの仮面が強いのか比べてみるのだ。
Now another thing, I will be adding like little captions to the video to show who voiced who, and I will likely also talk about who else they've voiced through that caption, at least in a small little at least in a like a small little sentence or something like that, something that tells you hey, they were also known for voicing such a character. As with Crash's voice actress is also, if I remember correctly, the voice for Diddy Kong in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Oh. Now, that model of Aku Aku, that was the original model they used for the prototypes of the next game in our Crash retrospective, which is going to be. I don't know if it's going to be this year or next year. I'm betting next year I'm likely going to be covering it. Because I can't wait to cover that game. I don't even need to do a practice run. I've played that game so many times. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Now, one thing I won't be able to do as of yet is basically a compendium of every single Aku Aku hint for this game. Now, you can actually cancel the Aku Aku hints with triangle, I believe. And while we're talking about the Japanese version and that trailer I was referring to, well, let's talk about locations. In the Japanese version, the Japanese version of this game is known as Flying Globe Trotting when translated. While this game is more about time travel to most parts of the world, the theming of this game is slightly altered to talk about traveling the world. It's a world tour. With that trailer showing flags of where each level's theme is taking place. So let's talk about the medieval levels. The medieval levels are, according to that trailer, are in Britain or the United Kingdom. Well, everyone knows this as the medieval levels, and rightfully so. I can kind of see it. I can definitely see it. And another thing. One of the things we collected was a crystal. In Japan, they call these things Power Stones, not to be confused with the Capcom game with the same name. And these portals are known as time gates in Japan. Another thing I should have made mention all the way back when I did the Crash 1 Let's Play, I'm thinking of doing a Let's Replay of that for Crash's 30th anniversary, is the fact that Wumpa Fruit are called apples in this game. I'm guessing it's likely a rename simply for the fact that Wumpa Fruit is completely made up names, and good job me. Wumpa Fruit aren't exactly something you could localize as easily, because it's a made up word and there isn't something in Japanese language that you could easily translate it to. Now, in that trailer, the underwater levels do not have a flag associated with it, except for a completely made-up flag, showing 3 pillars and a fish. Now, a lot of people would say that this is technically like Atlantis levels, but I don't think we're going to get Atlantis until one of the Game Boy Advance games, which I still need to complete at the time of this. It's just me trying to find time and comfort playing a handheld, considering my height. It's gotten hard for me to play handhelds and such. I'm not even past my 30s yet, and yet I have trouble holding handhelds now. Which is why I'm looking for, consoleized solutions. Maybe someday I'll own a, consoleized PlayStation Portable, so that way I can use it as my capture device. Someday. I'm already looking into getting a Vita. Assuming the Switch 2 isn't going to hamper things. I'm not going to discuss that, because anytime you discuss that, it's just this whole slew of confusion and doom posting, and I don't like that. So that vehicle we just got, that vehicle is known as the Deep Apple, according to the trailer. If that name were to be localized for United I'm going to assume that it probably would have been called the Deep Wumpa if it were if it were in an English trailer. Oh, that was close. Then again, I probably hadn't looked up the names. I probably should have looked at the manual. And thinking about it now, I'll probably make a mental note to look at it between parts, because I'm not sure how I'm going to supercut all this to make it lower than an hour. But I will. But this is my second attempt trying to record this. To tell you the truth, let's just say I was frustrated how long these parts were ending up being, that I ended up deleting the original takes because I did not want to edit through all of it. And I still need to edit the next Let's Play. Like, it's got its little disclaimer card and what's it? Start card. Now just remains the end card and such. And boy, do I need to get to editing rather soon, because I don't know when my move is going to happen, if it's going to happen at all. I'll let you know, because I'm planning to at least get the outtake reel done by then. In fact, you might see it by the time this goes up. Now, the trailer also shows, like, certain locations that are easy to guess where they are. It's a no-brainer that these levels are in the Great Wall of China. And I wish I can get myself to hit the Wumpa baskets. Those little baskets that you see, you can actually hit them. Easier said than done, though. And of course the AC comes on. And of course, in a moment where I need to back out of the room, or back out of the warp room, I get the Wumpa basket without even trying. Oh yeah, the relics. We'll talk about those a little bit later. We'll go more into that as we go into the prototype. Those are actually localized as trophies in this game, which makes me wonder how confusing it was for to distinguish the trophies between Crash Bandicoot Racing and like the relics being called trophies, and there being actual trophies in the Japanese version of CTR. Progression is different in the Japanese version of CTR. Yes, to the surprise of no one, I will Let's Play Crash Team Racing. I want to Let's Play Crash Team Racing. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this retrospective. But my other reason was to finally explore the Crash games that I missed for all these years, to show that maybe Crash is more than just these games. The reason why many people go back to these games is because there's a lot of information surrounding it. But that doesn't mean there isn't information surrounding the post-Naughty Dog era. There's information surrounding Crash Bash, Wrath of Cortex, Twinsanity. The GBA games, probably not so much. Maybe I'll look into that when we get to that point. I still need to get myself Nitro Kart Game Boy Advance in. Sorry, some jumps are just harder for me to judge, no matter how old I get. Man, I am not... Like, I see the year 2027 looming off, telling me, guess what? You're in your 30s now. And that terrifies me. That legitimately terrifies me. Ugh. But yeah. So, let's talk about some characters. I was looking at the pre-release material and such. From the Crash artist Charles Zembelis. How do you pronounce his name? Pura did not change much from the prototypes. Pura just basically was near final from the concepts, and they were good to go. So, yeah. Now, the the prehistoric levels, the past. First of all,
コルテックス、お面かぶってタイニーにパワーストーン持ってこいと言った。ローマンの闘技場に来いと言った。クラッシュ、パワーストーン、タイニーに置いてけ。
why does he sound like Randy Savage? I don't even watch wrestling, and yet I know how mimetic he is. I miss him dearly. Anyway, this level, like with the future, does not have a flag associated with it. Instead, the flag in the trailer is associated with a silhouette of a dinosaur in a yellow background. Now, I tend to struggle with these levels, trying to let's play them. I think it's a miracle how I was able to do it, because it seems like anytime I try to let's play this game and I'm going through these levels, I end up struggling against the dinosaur, no matter what tricks I do. And I still find it incredible how I went through all the platinums, and yet I don't feel disheartened that the... I want to say that's probably talking about the TNT, but again, maybe there's a video... Maybe that's a video project later down the line. Just talking about the Crash Bandicoot, Aku Aku hints. Because Aku Aku hints are basically a series, a trilogy staple for the Japanese versions of the game. I think the first time they ever made those Aku Aku hints, hints in the US titles was with Crash Team Racing. It was probably to teach you about certain mechanics in the game. And again, I can't wait to talk about Crash Team Racing because, as much documentation as there is of the original games, and even some documentation of the other games and such, I'm pretty sure there hasn't been more documentation than Crash Team Racing. We're talking about documentation of the game's prototype builds and such, and even the speed running. I sometimes look at videos of Crash Bandicoot speedruns and such, sometimes in my spare time, and realize that there's some things that I didn't even know about. I recently watched a Tool Assisted speedrun that was recently uploaded to YouTube. It was recorded all the way back, I think back when I did my, back sometime before I started recording the Freedom Planet 2 blind run, which, that's probably a Let's Replay for the future. Probably on console, though. Because, I have not gotten the last trophies. I struggled getting the last trophies because it's just... I didn't know you could probably deliberately not get the best ending of the game just so that way you don't have to do weapon score. And you had to basically do 4 full playthroughs and beat the best times on... and beat the par times on those just for their trophies. And boy... Eventually I'll also get my hands on the PS4 version of Freedom Planet 1. Okay. Sorry, I got nervous. But aside from all that, basically it's just knowing why certain things happen, why certain players do certain tricks. And I think I know why I had trouble with Sunset Vista. I want to say Vista because of the one IT crowd video and such, but that's not the case. By the way, let's talk about the next little fact about the jet ski. First of all, the name of the jet ski is, according to the trailer, is the Coco Marine. And that's a good name. I like that. It's it runs off the same syllable number as Aquamarine. Now, as you can hear, Coco actually has a voice clip for doing tricks. Coco doesn't get that many voice clips in this game. Coco barely has, Coco doesn't even have, like, any spoken lines in this game, despite being a playable character. Coco does have more of a speaking role. Maybe I'll do a video on Crash Bandicoot 2 extras. I attempted to do that, but I got frustrated with the item duplication glitch because of having to try to do it on real hardware. And I wanted to do it on real hardware. I do have a recording of me showing it off, but I didn't get the 200%, and maybe I'll just show off how it works, and then just show off my estimates on what to do when trying to get the 200% save file. I want to get a 200% save file on real hardware, but yeah. Let's talk about where these levels take place in. According to the trailer, despite this being in the pirate ages, the jet ski levels are in Jamaica. And I could tell from the flag itself. Yeah, Coco said "yata," which is kind of a common phrase saying in most Japanese voice characters. When say they clear something, you look at Astal for the Sega Saturn. Despite there being an English dub for that game, all the gameplay voice clips are in Japanese. I'm guessing they didn't have enough time to voice English gameplay voice clips. But now let's get to Tiny. Of course, Tiny is in Rome. Maybe someday I'll do a video on, extras for Crash 2 I never covered. Because I've just been racking my brain on how I can do certain videos for the longest time. And maybe something will come together. Because I know for next year, I want to do a Let's Replay of the first Crash game to talk about the information that's surfaced over time. And let's just show the cheese. If you're able to stand here, those lions will not get you. I wish I could have done this on real hardware. Now I figured it out, and it's not on real hardware. Check this out. Now, it's hard to believe that these games are still built off the same engine as Crash Bandicoot 1. Like with Crash Bandicoot 2, Crash Bandicoot 3 was built off of the code for Crash Bandicoot 2, which Crash Bandicoot 2 was built off of the code for Crash Bandicoot 1, as evident by the E3 demo for Crash Bandicoot 2. Now, I want there to be an E3 demo build. First of all, let's let Aku Aku speak.
よくやったのお主ら。タイニーを倒したことによって次のタイムゲートが使えるようじゃの。一旦真ん中まで戻ってセーブするのが良いぞ。セーブスクリーンの前で立ち止まれば、あとはちょちょいのパーじゃ。次に進む入り口が開いているのがそこから見えるはずじゃ。
Now, I want the E3 demo of the Crash Bandicoot 3, excuse me, let me reword this. I want the E3 build of Crash Bandicoot 3 to eventually be surfaced. I do want to talk about what's different about it, and maybe I'll try to make a video talking about the pre-release stuff for the third Crash game. And I never got to touch upon this. Crash's icon is an up-resed version of the life icon. However, in the prototype builds, we'll get to that. This was going to be Crash's icon I'm guessing they probably used it because it looked cuter in that case.
わしは何を喋っていたのだ。うん、そうだ。タイニーはな、いつも怒ってばかりだが、あれはあれで一生懸命なのだ。次はもう少し手加減してやってくれ。
Now, interestingly enough, in the Japanese dub for this game, Cortex and Uka Uka, when Uka Uka is possessing him, they speak in unison. I have to imagine that dubbing that was not easy, because you have like possibly two different voice actors having to speak at the. As I was saying, speaking at the same inflection at the same speed, and Cortex's voice actor has like two different inflections, as you could tell from the from the Time Twister message and such. Now, the reason why I'm only going to show off up to the 4th world is simply because I'm showing off each of the characters' Japanese dubs and such, and basically I'm using that as an opportunity to basically show off how these characters were dubbed in Japanese. I don't count on showing off Japanese localized versions of certain games unless there are a bunch of differences with it that I feel it's warrant making the video itself. At best, I'll try to make this a two-parter special, and there are also levels that I think are also worth showing for that matter. And I'm trying to gather my train of thought here, because I'm trying to save some of the things I want to talk about when it's appropriate, because there will likely be a pre-release video, a pre-release discussion video for Crash Bandicoot Warped, because there's also a lot of like development info that people know about, and the development info that are left over in some of the prototypes of the game. Now, I'm going to say this right now, because of how frustrated I was trying to get these episodes done, I will not be covering the August 26th demo, as I could not find any differences that were warrant covering them that weren't small differences. Sure, there were things that are like tiny differences, like menus, relic colors, stuff like that. But that is not easy for me to do when I messed up. Yeah, I'm maskless now. Joy. So I'm going to try to cover 2 worlds in this version. I'm not going to go for all relics. I don't exactly have the time to, since I've been wanting to get this done for quite some time now. But, like, maybe someday I'll just do a 101% playthrough of the Japanese version. But only when I'm bored enough. Because it's just, I already have a log of things that I still need to do. And boy, I can't wait to talk about some of the differences between each of the versions of the game and such. I'm not covering the European version. I've already talked about, like, one of the major differences here. But there's a lot of stuff that was added with this particular version of the game. And yes, that frog jumped into a nitro crate. He had so much to live for. And quite literally, it hasn't been a fun past month, because at the time of this recording, I still need to finish editing the demo episode. I just finished the recording of that like last month. And and I still got episodes to record. I wanted to get these done in April. Ugh. But of course, I still got a lot to go through. So, yeah, like I'd only go make an episode talking, showing up. Train of thought, come on, keep going. I want to make a video showing all the Aku Aku hint messages from the entire trilogy, but I need accurate translations if I'm going to do so. We're not going to show off the voice of Dingodile for a bit, because I forget when Dingodile's Dingodile's first Time Twister message appears. But I can at least talk about one thing because of all the extras that are in this game. All the extras of this game basically made it so that there was no Spyro 1 demo. I think at the time of this game being released, Spyro wasn't even local in the process of being localized for Japan yet. And poor, good job, me. Good job. And poor Spyro, always getting the short end of the stick with everything. Japan localization, being handed to other developers with varying degrees of quality, and I think Spyro had it worse. Then again, I have not played Spyro 1 fully. I want to, but it's just, I really can't stand how Spyro controls. Ugh, gosh, that was cutting it close. But yeah, I'm gonna probably break the recording after the second warp room, and then we'll resume from there, because I feel covering 2 warp rooms per part, if I can fit it within an hour, will at least make things a little bit easier for me to edit. And then I could just probably cut around whenever necessary. Because with Crash 1, if I ever decide to do a Let's Revisit with that, at least, or the Japanese version, I feel that would be an extra episode where I just cover the supercut of it. And like Crash 1 and Crash Team Racing, I think, has the most differences with the with their Japanese versions. I think this it's either this game or Crash Bandicoot Racing that has the most differences to their English counterpart. And again, please make sure you break all the boxes before hitting the bonus pad, because even if that number sets 25 and you hit the bonus platform, there's a good chance that that box will not count despite it being broken, becoming Schrodinger's box. And that happened to me in a failed recording. Ugh. That is not an easy thing to get, because when I did the Let's Play, I messed that box up so badly. I'm not exactly completely disheartened by my save file, my save file being wiped because of the memory card I had. Because I do enjoy this game enough and the game after this enough to go after all those platinum relics again. But it's a time commitment, no pun intended. Because at least I have it on video. I am so glad I have it on video, because that process took a year. Like, maybe when I'm trying to fill the space, I'll talk about the development of this Let's Play, because this was a overdue part of this Let's Play that I even considered scrapping until, like, after the blooper reel, because of how long it was taking me. So, I want to say this is the first time we see Dingodile. Probably not. So, yep, that's another difference with this. And of course, all the signs are localized. Now, if you want to guarantee yourself the first place trophy or the Power Stone and not worry about the gem until the revisit, well, you can just basically attempt to do the strat that you use to get the platinum, but you really need to practice making sure that you can keep one speed boost up throughout the entire stage. So let's talk about the vehicle and where this takes place. To no one's surprise, of course, the motorcycle levels take place in the United States of America. It's got all the American aspects to it. 50 style diners, gas stations, deserts, you name it, it's all American, despite there being Japanese signs in the levels. Ironic, you have the localization for all the Japanese signs to basically keep things consistent, yet they probably wouldn't be in Japanese if this was all about world tours and such. But of course, let's go get the... No, wait, let's not go to that level yet. I'm very fortunate that there isn't much text I need to read for this particular game. Because navigating some of the menus is going to be a nightmare. So, yeah, I will be back actually, I'll try to talk about the vehicle. The first vehicle in the trailer, the motorcycle, is known as the Iron Apple. Likely because they called the Wumpa fruits apples in the Japanese versions. So, if, say, that name was localized, if such a localization, or likely if there's an English version of the name in the game aside from just the motorcycle, they likely would have called this thing the Iron Wumpa, which sounds like a submarine more than a motorcycle. Now, I wish I could get both the gem and the crystal in this level. As you can tell, Crash actually said something for getting the gem. Now, if there's something that I think they removed from Crash 2's Japanese version, like to this game, it's the voice that Crash, it's the sound that Crash makes when he gets hit. Like, I think they reverted back to Crash going, oop!
オレっちリンゴダイルってんだ。コルテックスの親父にこの時代のパワーストーン集めろって言われたのよ。おとなしくオレっちにブツをよこせっての。でねと言ってみに合わせ。
So, yeah. Once we're done with this warp room, I'm going to break the recording because, yeah. Oof. Man, these levels, I think, like, it's this, I want to say it's these levels, the jet ski levels, and the Arabian levels that I spent the most time trying to do the time trials in, because they are the most platform heavy. Like, yes, the future levels are platform heavy too. I mean, here's another difference with the Japanese version. Instead of saying Neo, they're all N's. I have no clue why they just did that. Now, as expected with all versions of Japanese Crash, TNT just shows bombs, likely as an easy read to localize the TNT and such. Maybe because of cultural differences with how explosives are depicted in kids' cartoons or something like that. Like, if memory serves, the first time Japanese Crash was actually interpreted as a character model in a game was one of the last games they ever localized in Japan. Until the Insane trilogy. And you want to know who? You want to know which company decided to be the publisher for all the Crash games in Japan, starting with Insane Trilogy? Sega. Yes, the one company that had the developers poked fun at calling the codename of Crash 1 Sonic's ass game, was published by the company.
明るい光は罠じゃ。左から毒矢が飛んでくる。いやーねーなんちってな。
Was published by the one company that made the blue blur. Yeah, Crash does not have the from the Japanese version, though. I need to revisit that version of the game and try to do that silly thing with the mask. Now, if I'm correct about the European version,
左のドアは紫ダイヤで開く。探すのじゃ。
if I'm correct about the European versions of the game, they are actually slightly harder, not only in terms of relic times, but also in terms of how certain things behave. The skull routes, I don't know if Crash 2's European versions are also guilty of this. Oh gosh. Good job, me. Now, yeah, I had to hit square just to get out of that. Basically, I've been trying to, I want to say that in the European versions of Crash 2 and Crash 3, I don't know if it's just Crash 3 or if it's both Crash 2 and Crash 3, where the skull routes, you cannot afford to die in them at all, rather than just, if you touch the skull route, it stays there for the remainder of the level. And because Wrath of Cortex was developed by a European studio, they likely based a lot of the things off of Crash 3's European versions. So while the Japanese versions of the game are made easier, the European versions of the game are made harder, at least just this game. I always get nervous with this, no joke. So, yeah. Of course, it's a no-brainer that the Egypt levels are, of course, in... I want to body slam the snake. Are, of course, in Egypt. Some levels, you'd have to think about it for a bit, but shouldn't take too long to think about it. This level is not that hard to think about. So, and I still have a clip I need to record for the next Let's Play. Now let's go to the last of the China levels. And so, I want to say it was either this level or Oriental Express that I did the very first Platinum Relic recording. Now, the reason why I did the Platinum Relics off-screen and prioritized the vehicle levels first, it's so that way I can access the yellow gem before the end of the game, and basically, if you're planning to just do a 101% run of this game, I do recommend that that if you really want to prove yourself with the Platinum Relics and such, you go after the vehicle levels first. Because with these levels, you already have access to being able to get Platinum without needing a run button. As with the normal platforming levels, they kind of want you to wait until you get the running shoes, otherwise known as the Crash Dash, in order to get the platinums, because otherwise I think you would probably need to do a lot of zigzagging, and the other method is not even human viable, as zigzagging requires a lot of frame perfect inputs of opposite direction inputs and such, which will cause Crash to warp to the end of the level. And as far as I'm aware, the people recording the tool-assisted speedruns for the Crash trilogy, and probably for Crash Team Racing, though you wouldn't be able to do it in Crash Team Racing, wouldn't have found that interesting. So of course, let's go into Dingodile's boss fight.
俺っち忠告はしたよな。おめえのせいで戦うんだからな。
Dingodile did not change much between the first sketch and the final. And apparently that penguin is Penta, but who knows. Now, another thing about Dingodile's boss palette. Wow, point blank. It shares the same boss palette bar from the Komodo Bros. I believe Tiny's is as well. It's either Tiny's or Engines. But, yeah. If you're able to do the slide jump spin like that, it can be very easy to choke it at points. And of course, you can make him a joke. Yeah, you can make Dingodile a joke if you know what you're doing. But it's very easy to mess up. But yeah, Dingodile did not change that much between concept and final. Dingodile once wore a button-up shirt, and there was probably a point where they meant for Dingodile to be a primordial creature, like an animal they took from the distant past and evolverated in the future. But yeah. One thing that stayed the same between all of Dingodile's concept sketches is likely his size, his proportions. Now, another thing with Dingodile's boss fight is that there's an unused animation of Crash having his tongue stuck to ice, since that level does reuse a lot of ice assets from Crash Bandicoot 2. It's supposedly in the Ice Ages, like the distant past. But I really wish there would have been, like proper ice levels or something. I don't know. They probably didn't do that because they already had ice levels in Crash Bandicoot 2. But let's go make a save. Because, it's almost been an hour, and I feel this is a good place to stop. So, yeah. If you're wondering what this is, this was my failed attempt. So, yeah, there's a lot more options with this particular save select screen. But you want to know what this particular screen has? Numbers. You don't get that in the US or European versions. So, yeah. The language barrier. It's just having to guess what is save and what is load. So, yeah. I hope I was able to make a very sufficient first part to the Japanese version. Next up, we'll be talking about the other two worlds. What we'll not talk about is the last world, since there isn't really much that's different there. But yeah, if you enjoyed today's part and want to see more, you can hit the subscribe button, the bell, and you'll be on your way. If you want to donate to have your name read or something within another Let's Play or something, it's just there's a couple links below. Just let me know if you want it read, or let me know how it's pronounced. But any amount helps, and the thought is appreciated. Anywho, I hope you're taking really good care of yourself, and I shall bid you adieu. Say, Coco, can we get a little extra boom in that boombox?